I'm a public school and college Khanewal. It's class second year and the subject is biology. It's chapter number 17, nervous coordination, and the topic we are going to discuss about is the architecture of brain and spinal cord and their function. Okay, as our topic is architecture of brain and spinal cord and their function. We must know about that the brain and spinal cord, these two about which we are going to discuss, these are the parts of the central nervous system. Our central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. Now let's see about it. Both brain and spinal cords are hollow. Brain has cavities in it called the ventricles, while spinal cord has a central canal. Both cavities are filled with cerebrospinal fluid. The protection of the component of central nervous system, how the protection is being practiced here in central nervous system. For this purpose, in central nervous system, both brain and spinal cords are protected in three ways. These two things, the brain and spinal cords are protected in three ways. First of all is the cranium. Cranium, it is a part of skull which protects the bone. It's a bone skeleton that protects the brain. Next is the vertebral column that pack this spinal cord. The spinal cord is present inside the vertebral columns. Next to them is the meninges. Meninges are the layers. Beneath the cranium and vertebral column, the brain and spinal cords are protected by a triple layer of meninges. You can see here these triple layers. First of all, this is the skull, which I call the bony cranium. Next to it is the meninges, that are the three layers: dura mater, arachnoid mater, and pia mater. So these are the three layers which are known as the meninges present in the brain and spinal cord. If you see between the arachnoid and pia mater here, there is a fluid, cerebrospinal fluid. Here is the fluid which is known as the cerebrospinal fluid, which helps to cushion the brain from shock. So hence, these brain and spinal cords are being protected by the cranium, meninges, and cerebrospinal fluid. Hopefully, these points are clear, the protection points. Clear? Okay, now let's see about this cerebrospinal fluid, what it is. Between the layer of meninges here, the cerebrospinal fluid is present, okay? It is similar in composition to the blood plasma, the cerebrospinal fluid. It guards the neuron of brain and spinal cord. It cushions against the bumps and joints. Both brain and spinal cords are hollow. The spinal cord has central canal and brain has many cavities filled by this CSF. Okay, see next. Our brain, central nervous system. Now we are going to talk about this brain part. The brain further consists of three main divisions: forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. See the function of each one. Helps to regulate movement and process auditory and visual information, while the forebrain, it processes sensory information, helps with reasoning and problem solving, and regulate autonomic, endocrine, and motor functions. These all are the functions for the responsible for forebrain. Hindbrain helps to regulate autonomic functions, relay sensory information, coordinate movements, and maintain balance and equilibrium. So let's see the forebrain in detail. Yes, forebrain. Here you can see this, that the highlighted red part is the forebrain part, which is further categorized into the thalamus, limbic system, and the cerebrum. Forebrain having three parts: thalamus, limbic system, and the cerebrum. See each part one by one with its function. You see the thalamus. So you can see here, this is the part of the, this is the forebrain part. And in forebrain, you can see this is thalamus part, which is present between the cerebrum and above the hypothalamus, right? So this is thalamus. What is the function of thalamus? It is a relay center, fine, and carries sensory information to the limbic system and cerebrum. It means it gives information to this cerebrum and limbic system. Information is taken by sensory neurons, as you know, the neurons which are responsible to sense the things. They are accepted by the thalamus, auditory and visual pathways from the skin and within the body. Thalamus is below, you know that this is below the cerebrum. It receives all sensory impulses and channels them to limbic system. It also sends them to the limbic system, the limbs, which I am going to describe it as well. What happened next to it? And to appropriate regions of the cortex for the interpretation. So it is basically a point where from where the sensory information moves towards the cerebrum and limbic system, where it acts as a relay center. Next to it is the limbic system. It is an arc. Fine. It is located in an arc between the thalamus and just under the cerebrum. Just under the cerebrum in this part, the limbic system is present. Okay. If I tell you about the overall structure of the limbic system, then it has two ventricles. These are not ventricles, these are ventricles, and one cavity. What kind of ventricles are here, and what is the cavity which is present here in this limbic system? So let me tell you about it. Between limbic system and cerebrum, if you see, this is the limbic system, and this is the whole system of cerebrum, right? Two ventricles, two ventricles are present here, which are commonly known as lateral ventricle or first and second ventricle. So the ventricles are present just between the cerebrum and limbic system and known as the first and second ventricle. Another cavity, the third thing is a cavity called third ventricle is present between limbic system and the thalamus. It is also present between the limbic system and thalamus. So overall we can say that there are three cavities. Two are known as the ventricle, one is known as the cavity. First, second ventricles and third cavity, and these are present between the cerebrum and the limbic system. Okay, what is the function here? It is a center of most unconscious emotional behavior such as the limbic system, fine, such as love, hate, hunger, thirst, fear, rage, pleasure, and sexual responses. For all these purposes, this limbic system is responsible. Parts of limbic system. If we see the parts of the limbic system in detail, I have explained the ventricles and cavity. Now see the parts of limbic system. Here are the hypothalamus, amygdala, and hippocampus. Fine. Limbic system is having three further parts: the hypothalamus, amygdala, and hippocampus. See all of these one by one. Let's talk about this hypothalamus. On the ventral side of the thalamus is the hypothalamus. Okay, let me show you it on the ventral side. This is the hypothalamus. It is present on the ventral side, right, of thalamus. What is the function of this hypothalamus now? Let's see. Hypothalamus through its hormones. It produces hormones, production, and neural connection. As you know, hypothalamus, beside this hypothalamus, the pituitary glands are also present. Can you see? Yes, here the pituitary glands. And what is the function of these pituitary glands? To secrete the hormones. So you can say also that hypothalamus, through its hormone production and neural connection, act as a major coordinating organ. It maintains, what is the function of hypothalamus in your body? It maintains homeostasis, fine. And what else it can do? Contains center of regulating menstrual cycle, body temperature, blood pressure, sleep awake cycle. If you remember about that, how much time we sleep in a day and our awakening, that it is also having all in one cycle, so known as a sleep awake cycle. Water balance and hunger, these all the things that are controlled by this hypothalamus. So hypothalamus give the production of hormones which maintains these certain functions in our body. Next to it is the amygdala. These are two almond-shaped masses of neurons. Fine. What is this amygdala? Two almond-shaped masses of neurons on either side of thalamus at the lower end of the hippocampus. Okay. See here, it is present at the here in the lower end of the thalamus here, just above this hypothalamus. This is the amygdala part, right? In the amygdala, cluster of neurons produce sensation of pleasure. Cluster of neurons produce the sensation of pleasure, punishment, love, hate when stimulated. So these functions are also controlled by the amygdala. And what is amygdala? Two almond-shaped masses of neurons. Fine. Next to it is it also involved in the feelings of fear and rage. Okay. Next to it is the hippocampus. You are well familiar of this term, hippocampus. Anybody can answer for it? Hippocampus consists of two horns, okay? And what it works, that curve back from the amygdala. Right after the amygdala, there is a hippocampus. Hippocampus consists of two horns that come back from the amygdala. Hippocampus plays an important role in the formation and in converting things that are in your mind, right? At the moment, in short-term memory, you can say it, into things you will remember for the long run, the long-term memory. It means that if your hippocampus gets damaged, what can you do? Can you remember your old memories or can you form your new memories? What can be happened at that time? Any answer from your side, please? What is the function of the hippocampus? Tell me.
Responsible for new memories.
Responsible for new memory. Okay. If in any accident your hippocampus get damaged, what will be happen?
हम प्रीवियस जो मेमोरीज होते हैं वो भूल जाते हैं और ये न्यू हमें याद रहती है.
It is responsible to make new memories, so we can't make long-term memories. Fine. And we will remember the things that happened before the accident. Okay. Is it so, Maheen or Hira?
Yes, miss.
Good.
Yes, miss.
Okay, see the next. That is the third part, which is known as the cerebrum. The first was the thalamus, the second was the limbic system, and now we are going to see the third, which is known as the cerebrum. What is the cerebrum? Cerebrum is the largest part of the forebrain, you can say, and is divided into two halves called the cerebral hemisphere. Here I mentioned two cerebral hemisphere. We have divided the cerebrum into two parts, the two cerebral hemisphere. Okay, see about this hemisphere. Each hemisphere consists of surface of four lobes, and I will explain these lobes later. But let you tell me that the left cerebral hemisphere. I told you that cerebrum is divided into two cerebral hemispheres, the left cerebral and the right cerebral. Okay. Now, point to be noted that left cerebral hemisphere controls the right side of the body. Okay. The left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right cerebral hemisphere controls the left side of the body. Clear? Okay, next to it is the corpus callosum. These two halves of hemisphere, right? The left cerebral and the right cerebral communicate with each other by a means of large band of axons. So you can say that this corpus callosum is a large band of axons which is present between these two halves, the left cerebral hemisphere and the right cerebral hemisphere. Okay. and and what its function? It communicates with each other, help to communicate with these two parts, and the band of axon is called the corpus callosum. What is the corpus callosum? Axon bands that communicate between the left cerebral hemisphere and the right cerebral hemisphere. Okay, I already told you that the cerebral hemisphere, they each has the four lobes. Now, let me tell you about that four lobes. What are that? The cerebrum, the largest part of the brain, we have divided it into its surface into the four lobes: the frontal lobe, the temporal lobe, parietal lobe, and the occipital lobe. If you remember the 10th class, chapter 3, we discussed it there. Now see it again. The frontal lobe associates with reasoning, planning, parts of speech, like I am speaking this time. I'm giving you the reasoning. I planned this lecture for you. Emotions and problem solving. All these functions are controlled by frontal lobe of the cerebrum. Next is the temporal lobe, associated with the perception and recognition of auditory stimuli, memory, and speech. Yes, you are listening my points. Associated with perception, recognition, you are recognizing my words; auditory stimuli, you are hearing my words; you are memorizing them, and you are answering me as well. So these all functions are controlled by the temporal lobe. Next, it is a parietal lobe associated with sensory perception and integration such as touch, pressure, temperature, important for understanding, spatial orientation, movement, coordination, information processing, and more. These all are the functions of the parietal lobe present on the surface of the cerebrum. Next to them is the occipital, responsible for the vision, is called occipital lobe. Clear this? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The four lobes are cleared. The two cerebral hemispheres cleared, left and right. Their functions are also cleared. How they are connected with each other with the help of this corpus callosum cleared. Four lobes with functioning are cleared. Cerebral cortex. Now let's come towards this term, the cerebral cortex. Say, tens of billions of neurons are packed into this part. The outer region of the outer region, like we are talking about the cerebrum, its outer region, the cerebral cortex, this one. It's called the cerebral cortex, forms folds. It is forming the folds in the outer region, and that folds are called the convolutions, which greatly increase its surface area. That is just, you can say that it is the outer region or outer part or outer membrane like structure that makes some folds, and that folds are called the convolution. Clear? Okay, now let me tell you about the cerebral cortex function, as it is the outer region, like this is the cerebrum, here is the cerebrum. Yeah, it's outer region present here. And now let me tell you that it is attaching with whole these four parts, right? And it is the outermost region. What is the function of cerebral cortex here in the cerebrum? Okay, now come towards this structure and function of cerebral cortex. If you see, students, we have divided the cerebral cortex into three parts: the motor areas, the sensory areas, and the association areas. I was telling you about that the lobe is doing such and such function. Temporal lobe is doing such and such function. Parietal lobe is doing such and such function. But it means in each part these functions are happening, right? But how? Because the thalamus is giving information to these parts, right? But how these informations are going towards these parts? With the help of the cerebral cortex, right? The motor areas, the sensory areas, the association areas. The motor areas control response of the body. Fine. Sensory areas receive impulses from different part of the body. These are the sensory. Okay. And the next is the association areas interprets or analyzes the incoming information. Like sensory areas are receiving the impulses. Okay. It is association areas are analyzing it. After that, motor areas are giving response to the body. So these three areas are the structure of the cerebral cortex. And what is cerebral cortex? Outermost region that makes some folds called the convolutions. See here, it's here. Tell me.
Clear है miss?
Okay. Now come towards its function of the cerebrum. What are the functions? Now see the overall functions of the cerebrum. Analysis of memory, yes. Reasoning, also. Thoughts, also. Dreams, yes. Judgment, emotional feelings. These all are the functions of the cerebrum. Here are the three parts of the forebrain ends. Let's see it again for you to memorize, you people. We started from here. The major three parts, forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Okay. First of all, we discussed about the forebrain. Forebrain consists of the three parts: thalamus, limbic system, and the cerebrum. Thalamus consists of the relay center that receives all sensory impulses. Fine. Here is the thalamus. This part acts as a relay center. Next to it is the limbic system, which is present just below the thalamus, the sides of the thalamus. Okay, on here, these sides. It is having two ventricles and one cavity. First, second ventricle, and the third cavity, which is present here. If you see the parts of the limbic system, it has three parts: hypothalamus, amygdala, and the hippocampus. See the hypothalamus, which is present in the limbic system just after that thalamus, and what its function is to maintain homeostasis, body temperature, blood pressure. After that, amygdala, that is to almond-shaped structure which is present below the hypothalamus, and these are the cluster of neurons for the sensation of pleasure, punishment, love, pain, and play. Next, it is the hippocampus, which is a two-horn structure responsible for new memories formation. The third was the cerebrum. It is divided into two halves: left cerebral hemisphere and the right cerebral hemisphere. Left control the right side of the body, and right cerebral hemisphere controls the left side of the body. Next, it is the corpus callosum, that is the band of axons which attach these two parts, communicates with these two parts. Four lobes and cerebral cortex. Four lobes are here: frontal lobe, temporal lobe, parietal lobes, and occipital lobes, each with its function, and they all are covered by the cerebral cortex. Cerebral cortex areas, motor areas, sensory areas, association areas, and this is the overall functioning of the cerebrum. Analysis of memory, reasoning, thoughts, dreams, judgment, and emotional feelings. So the forebrain is clear with you all.
Yes, miss.
Okay, now let's start the midbrain. It acts as a relay center and and reflects the movement. Here you can see the midbrain where it is present, this part. Midbrain, you can see this colored part. Okay, midbrain is present here. Fine. This is the part of the, this is the area of the midbrain. It is reduced in humans and has following functions. The first, it acts as a relay center. What is the meaning of relay center? It acts as a relay station for tracks passing between the cerebrum and the spinal cord. Okay. See, this is the spinal cord. Fine. And this is the cerebrum region. So it acts in between of them. Midbrain contains reticular formation, which is relay center connecting hindbrain with the forebrain. So you can say basically it is a junction that is connecting the forebrain with the hindbrain. These are the parts of the hindbrains. Between them is this midbrain, which is connecting it with the forebrain. It also contains auditory relay center, except it acts as the auditory relay center, whatever the sounds you are receiving, these all are sending by this midbrain towards the cerebrum. Reflex movement. Relay center is clear that it is sending information towards the cerebrum. Next is the reflex movement. It controls reflex movements of eyes and yes. If you are giving any response, if you are giving any action or you're trying to give any movement like the eye movements, it is also a reflex action. It is a kind of action that is controlled by your midbrain. So it acts as a relay center that's sending information towards the brain for interpreting and reflex movement, giving action as well. Next to it is the hindbrain, which is present, the third part of the brain, hindbrain. And it is having the three parts, medulla oblongata, pons, and the cerebellum. What is the function of the medulla oblongata and where it is present? You can see in this diagram. This is the medulla oblongata, like here, which is present above the, this is blackish cerebrum. It is present above the cerebellum and below the pons. Okay, so this is its location of medulla oblongata. Now see its functioning. It controls the autonomic functions. And what are the automatic or autonomic functions that are not in our power, not in our will, like heart rate, breathing, blood pressure, swallowing? These all are not in your control. Okay, so these all functions are controlled by this part of the medulla oblongata of the hindbrain. Next it is the pons. These are the pons and present just above the medulla oblongata, right? And you can say it acts as a bridge between the cerebellum and medulla. Is it so? It is acting as a bridge. This is this pon is the bridge between the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum, right? Medulla and cerebrum. Medulla and the cerebrum. So it is a bridge. It is connecting these three parts: cerebellum, medulla, and pons. So it is a bridge that is connecting these two with the cerebrum. Okay, it also involved in the rate and pattern of heartbeat. Now come towards its function, the pons. Rate and pattern of heartbeat involved in the rate and pattern of breathing, heartbeat and breathing. Except it, certain neurons in pons influence transition between sleep and wakeful. Like in morning, you don't want to take my lesson, but you have to take it, right? And your this transition between sleep and wakefulness is also controlled by your these bone cells. Okay. Next it is the cerebellum. It is it coordinates body movements and maintain the body positions equilibrium, like you are standing with the proper balance. This is controlled by this cerebellum. Okay. It is responsible for walking, running, riding bicycle, doing delicate work with the hand. It also involved in the learning and memory storage for behaviors. It best developed in birds. Yes, the cerebellum. In if you see it in the birds, this part is well developed there, which engage in complex activity of flight. You know, during the flight process in birds, they have to maintain their body balance. And for that purpose, they have well developed this cerebellum. Still here, any problem?
No, miss.
Okay, now come towards the next topic, that is the spinal cord. We have ended with the brain and now going to discuss about the spinal cord, which is the second part of the central nervous system. What is spinal cord? Medulla oblongata narrows down into the spinal cord. See it again. You can see this is medulla oblongata. As it moves down, it is forming the structure of the spinal cord. Okay. The spinal cord is the most important structure between the body and the brain. Okay, you can see here, this is your brain and it's your spinal cord. So you can say that it is important part which is present between the brain and your body parts. So it's a junction. Location, what is the location of this? Where it is present? The spinal cord. Okay, now see the location of the spinal cord. The spinal cords extend from the foramen magnum, a hole in the bottom of the skull. Here you can see this is the hole in the bottom of the skull that is known as the foramen magnum, right? Where it continues with the medulla to the level of the first second lumbar vertebra. From here, it extended towards the first second lumbar and vertebra. If you remember, we divided vertebral column into different parts, the thoracic lumbar, the thoracic vertebra, lumbar vertebra. Remember? In the skeletal system, we have divided into four parts. Now, it is extended from the skull hole towards this first two lumbar vertebra. Okay. It is vital link between the brain and the body. As you know, it is a vital link between the brain and the body. These are the body parts and here it is present. Structure and composition. See the spinal cord structure, how it is made up of. A transverse section of adult spinal cord shows white matter in the periphery, gray matter inside, and a tiny central canal filled with the CFS at its center. See tubular bundles of nerve. You can see this is the tubular bundle of nerves. Nerves are arising from here, right? This is from the spinal cord. Start from the brainstem and end at the lower back here. It is also having the meninges, the three meninges I told you, pia mater, dura mater, and all that. Between them, the cerebrospinal fluid was present. It is also present here. Outer region, if you see its cross section, like if you see this part, you will find here the white matter, the outer region, and the inner region of the spinal cord consists of the gray matter. In between them, the cerebrospinal fluid is also present. If you see from spinal nerves, what are the spinal nerves? Like these are nerves, you can see these are originating from this spinal cord. Okay. So you can say here is a 31 pairs of spinal nerves. That are the mixed nerves, and they are following the two routes here, the dorsal route and the ventral route. The dorsal and the ventral. The dorsal root sensory axon ganglion where cell body is located, and the ventral roots axons of motor neuron only. See this dorsal and ventral roots with this diagram, you can see. Fine. If you see the cross section of spinal cord, it is divided into two portions. The inner portion is the gray matter, where it is, yes. this butterfly shape inner region is called the gray matter. Okay, it is present here. It is butterfly shaped gray matter containing a central canal. It is also having a central canal here. This is the central canal. The two wings of the butterfly are connected across the midline by the dorsal gray commissure and below the white communicers. You can see here, these are the midline by dorsal gray. These are the nerves actually. The neurons are giving two roots, the dorsal roots and the ventral roots. As in the other part of the nervous system, the gray matter consists of neuron cell bodies and non-myelinated nerve fibers or tract. It is also contains the neurons that are the non-myelinated, and non-myelinated means those who don't have the fatty layers on it. If you see the outer portion, now see this white color, the outer portion of the butterfly is called the white matter. It is composed of white matter. White matter is made up of myelinated nerve, while the inside there was non-myelinated, right? But if you see its outer side, the white matter, it consists of the myelinated nerve fibers or tracts. White matter shows deep grooves from both sides. Yes, it is showing the deep groove from both sides. Okay, from dorsal side to the central canal. From the dorsal side, where is the dorsal side? This is the dorsal side groove here. For the dorsal root or dorsal canal, central canal is here, and other one is with the spinal root. This groove is also present here. The grooves are called the posterior median sulcus and anterior median sulcus. This is the anterior and this is the posterior median sulcus. Several pairs of spinal nerves originate from ventral horn of gray matter. You can see that ventral. Where is the ventral? This is a ventral horn, right? This is a horn-shaped structure of butterfly. It is also giving rise to spinal nerves. Okay. Similarly, several pairs of spinal nerves join the spinal cord through the dorsal horn. These are the dorsal horns. From here, the neurons are also originating. Dorsal root of spinal nerves also contain ganglia present just beside the spinal cord. Here, see please, on this canal, on this root, you can find these ganglia are present here. What is the function of spinal cord? It's a center for a large number of reflexes. How it is working for reflexes? You are now familiar with the white matter and gray matter, the outer region, the inner region with its neurons, the non-myelinated in gray matter and the myelinated in the white matter. Okay, now let's see. But that we are seeing it receives the impulses, like its neurons are the sensory neurons. Ganglions are here that receives the information or stimulus from the receptor. Now it is giving it towards this spinal cord center, that is called the inner region. Now the message will be interpreted here with the help of these interneurons, right? After interneurons analyzing this message, it will give certain response towards the effectors. Now this message will bring towards the effector with the help of these motor neurons. Motor neurons are giving that. So you can say that from receptor, sensory neurons are following the dorsal root, while from interneuron towards the effector, the message goes through this ventral root. Is it clear?
Yes, miss.
If anybody is feeling any problem here, please let me know.
No, miss, clear.
Yeah, was it easy?
Yes.